Hello and welcome everyone. This is the first ever Guild open house. So we're here to answer questions, all Guild and or presentation related questions tonight for at least the next hour. Depending on how it goes, we may stay a bit longer. So get ready to send in anything you've ever wondered or are curious about to comment. We'll receive them just if you just comment on whatever platform you're watching from. So that might be YouTube or Facebook. Just type in your comments there and we will see them here and be happy to answer them. I guess quickly, we should just introduce ourselves. Hi, Christine, we see you. I'm Bethany Auk. You might know me from the Presentation Summit or as the founder and creator of SlideRabbit, but I am also the interim acting president of the Presentation Guild. So that's why I'm here. Anybody else?
Oh, we didn't decide what order we're going in.
I know.
Oh, man, that's hard.
Steffi, go.
Echo, I'll go. Okay, sure. I was about to nominate you. I'm Steffi Hogan. I am a founding member of the Presentation Guild. I am the person behind the tech. I built the website and maintain it. Otherwise, I work a day job and, a lot of freelancing work and have 2 kids and a puppy. It's busy.
New puppy. I guess by definition, puppy is new, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Tony, you should go.
Unmute. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Ramos. I am also one of the founding directors of the Guild, and my hat here is social media and writing and editing content for you guys. And I also am self-employed, both in presentations and also graphic design, especially for contract proposals. So that's my deal. And I have 0 kids, 1 wife, and 5 dogs.
A lot of dogs.
Bless you, Tony.
Dogs enough for all of us.
It's a lot of Tony.
Right.
Some dogs.
A lot of dogs. And a webcam, a live webcam for the dogs, which is always fun. I'm Echo Swinford. I started the Presentation Guild. I'm the one who called all these weirdos and said, come and join me and we need to do this now. And they all said yes, and so here we are. I am self-employed and I am based in Indianapolis. I'm a presentation geek.
You're among your people.
It's my tribe, man.
That's what we do.
This is what we do.
So we asked you to submit questions via survey, and we have some of those that we can answer tonight, as well as anything that comes in on social media. So feel free to ping us and play Stump the Presenters. We're here for it.
Oh yeah, Stump the Presenter. That sounds like fun.
I know, I might regret that one immediately, but
I'm thinking.
one of the faces. Yeah, I definitely see a lot of people. Hi, everybody. We're seeing you all your comments pop up, so keep them coming.
Yes, hello. Welcome.
I suppose we could start with something from the survey, if that works, until we have some live questions. We did have a question regarding the origins and the kind of mission, Echo, which I think maybe would fall into your wheelhouse to really talk about what inspired the Guild.
I can talk about that. I am happy to talk about that. I think that what?
I love this story.
You love this story? All right. So I think that in a nutshell, I would say that I called all these, I didn't start this, we started this, but we started it to advocate for our industry and to legitimize what we do as a profession. And it started because, I don't know, a few years ago, I got a new computer or something, and I had to reinstall all my Adobe products. And at the time, you went through the installation process, and it asked you all these questions. And at one point, there's a bunch of demographic stuff. At one point, it asked, what do you do for a living? And it had this drop down that was 5 miles long. And it had every kind of design you can imagine. There was magazine design. Textile design is one I remember distinctly because it's so very specific.
Wow.
And I mean, textile design, really? All these different kinds of design and nothing about presentations. And I was just like, you know what? I have had it. I am so sick of this, and this is just pissing me off. So I was like, we need to do something about this. It's legit. Like, there's a whole group of us who do this. So I got on the phone. I called a bunch of the Microsoft PowerPoint MVPs who are my dear friends and colleagues and I've worked with forever. And we had always talked about starting an organization and we never did. So I called them all up and I said, you know what, you guys, it's time. We need to do this. So they all said yes. Nobody turned me down. We got Tony and Steffi involved because we started working with them and realized how much knowledge they have in this area. So we grabbed them, and like I called Bethany at one point and said, join our board, and Jim Parkinson, and so anyway, like I just pulled these people together and here we are. So that's it.
And we've recently had a little bit of a win in that category on LinkedIn.
Yes.
We mentioned if you're active on our Slack community, you may have seen a post there, or if you follow our Twitter, you may have seen that announcement. But LinkedIn has added now presentation design as a category, which is a big win. So if you haven't added it to your profile, think about that on LinkedIn.
Yep. Huge props to Julie for that. Julie Turberg spent a lot of time on the phone with the people at LinkedIn Pro saying, look, this is why you need to do this. So I got to give her some props for that too.
Awesome, Julie. Thank you. Big snaps for Julie,
Snaps.
who's watching. So hi, Julie. We have a question from Facebook about the connection between the Presentation Guild and the summit. Are we married? Are we BFFs?
Totally BFFs.
We are BFFs. Maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the Guild and the summit are one and the same, and that the Guild puts on the summit. That is not the case. The summit has actually been around for longer than the Guild. Although you'll see a lot of the same faces, being that we are kind of a smaller industry and tightly knit. So I can see how that could be confusing. But we are a sponsor of the summit.
Yeah.
Do you know I'm sorry, go ahead, Steffi.
I was just going to say, many of us met each other at the summit.
Yes.
Sort of.
Do you know how the summit started?
Tell the story.
I have another story.
It's a good story too.
All right, so this goes way back to the days of NNTP news groups, and I think many of you I see coming in on the chat are too young to even know this. But oh my gosh, in the late 1900s, which cracks me up every time I say that, but in the late 1900s, in the late 1990s. There were these NNTP news groups. They were text only, and they had an aggregator called Deja News and all this. So anyway, there was a PowerPoint community, and this is actually where I started learning about PowerPoint, because I was working in a silo on my own, and I kept getting stuck. I hit a wall, so I started answering questions. I started asking questions on that group, and I read every day, and eventually I answered questions, and they made me an MVP. But we had this really tight-knit group there. And so one day we were talking about, I don't know, Kathy Jacobs, who was an MVP at the time, she said something about we should have a party the day after Thanksgiving. Somebody said this. She's like, we could do it in my backyard. We'll do outdoor cooking and stuff. And all these people were like, I'll go. We were half afraid we were going to end up with 200 people showing up in Kathy's backyard the day after Thanksgiving, to be honest. But anyway, long story short, it was like, okay, it's time, we need to do this. So Steve had been working with Rick Altman with a different conference, with Corel conference. And so he contacted Rick and he said, we want you to consider putting on a PowerPoint conference. And so we were all at Microsoft for one of the MVP summits, and Rick came up, and because it's not too far from him, and we met about how it could work and what would do. And he said, all right, let me see what we can do. And we had our first conference in Tucson in 2003 at this small hotel, and there were 2 tracks. And I mean, oh my gosh, I had no voice. It was 2 days. I spoke like 8 times or something. Steve spoke like 5. We had, Microsoft people doing crazy panels and stuff. That was how it started. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall.
But it was a lot of the same people, which I think leads to some of that confusion. Are you guys BFFs? Are you the same thing?
Right.
That kind of thing. But yeah. So.
Yeah. Awesome question. Thank you, Steve. Let's see. We've got a lot of highs. Hi, Kate. Nice to see you. Okay, let's see.
Diane has a new name. Di.
Oh, very fun.
Got married. Maybe.
Oh, you know what? We have another question from the survey that I think might go well for either Steffi or Echo. Someone asked in the survey, what kind of is the average price per slide, and how do people charge? Anybody want to field?
I've talked a lot. Go, Steffi.
You're muted, Steph. There you go.
Now I'm not. Pricing. That is just ever the big hot topic, and you never want to price yourself too low. I was chastised by a certain someone for pricing myself too low at one point. She's looking guilty too. Yeah, but no, it was a good chastising because we don't want to undervalue ourselves or the skills that we have. And most people think, oh gosh, you just work in PowerPoint. That's easy. You shouldn't charge that much. But there's a lot that goes into presentations, right? There's the thought behind, the story and the order in which you tell it and how you best visualize that and the pacing and the animations, if you use them, all that stuff. So the more skills, the more skilled you are in more of those areas, the higher your price should be. Also, if you're a fast worker, you can put out a lot of high quality slides very quickly. That speed and experience is worth a lot more money. So just because it takes you an hour doesn't mean you should only get charged for an hour that somebody else who goes a lot slower goes. So it's a really hard balancing act. And I mean, I know I haven't set a dollar figure yet, but go ahead.
Do you ever do project fees instead of per hourly, or?
I never do project fees.
Okay.
Because it's such a difficult evaluating that value. What's the long-term value for the client? It's something I've never grasped or was able to do.
I think that as you do this longer and longer, you get a better handle on what a project takes and scoping them for clients, and that lets you get to the point where you can do project cost instead of an hourly. And
That's true.
I find that very freeing because I don't have to keep track of every single hour, and I don't worry about it too much.
That's true.
That's me personally. I don't know. How do you feel, Tony? I see you nodding about that. And Bethany, you have experience on that with the agencies, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Muted. Tony,
I find
muted.
for
There you go.
myself that
You're good.
Delay. Sorry.
Delay.
am I on now? Okay, it's all right. I find for myself that keeping track of hours is actually easier because that means if it's a long project, and I tend to work on long projects, sometimes there's a ceiling at which I have to sign an amendment to a contract because they budgeted X for me. And so by keeping track of my hours and letting my client know, hey, we're at this point, just use me well, or let me have more money.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the reasons I do hourly all the time is because I also work a full-time day job, and I need to record those hours constantly so that when a client comes back with another project or a new one comes in, I have an estimate of how many hours it is, and I charge by that because my outside of my day job hours are very precious to me, which is why I'm holding candy and like throwing it around. So I tend to charge higher because that takes away from my work-life balance. But knowing that how many hours a project will take will allow me to know if I feasibly can take on a project, or if I just need to say, oh, I know somebody else who can help you because I just don't have the time.
Yeah, Jen mentioned on Facebook the salary survey. Because we are a team, we track hours like very, very judiciously, so that we can make sure that we are getting the full amount that we're owed for our time. But setting prices was kind of an incremental increase as we built the business. And we also price different for different industries sometimes because of just client behavior, let's say, for certain industries can be a little different. It is a factor. Yeah. But I think the salary survey can come in handy for people who are struggling to figure out kind of, especially if you're starting out freelancing in the industry. While I don't think there's ever a way to like set a price that makes the most sense for everybody. The salary survey can help you figure out kind of where you fall on the spectrum and help you target that, and also know your own worth, so that you're not undercharging, which I think is a big risk, especially with freelance. I think we all tend to kind of feel like, oh, can I really get that much money per hour? And you probably can,
Yes.
if your work is good enough. So the salary survey can help with that. And we put that out, Echo, does that come out every year, or how often does the salary survey come out?
It could be. I think we're averaging every other year about now, and I think that we will be ready to go out with the questions. Be on the lookout for it, because we'll need your participation. It should be ready to go out in the next couple of months, and then we'll gather the info and we'll publish it in early next year.
Cool.
So I think the last one was I think it was 2018. Did we publish it in 2018? So yeah, we're looking at every other year, I think.
Yeah. So that's great. And if you haven't seen the salary survey before, is the old one still available on the site somewhere for people to look
Yes.
up? Great. So go check that out. If you haven't checked it out, it has all sorts of industry information and people, your peers answering questions that may help you, give you some guidance on that.
If I can
on
add
that
one more
front.
thing about salary, if you have specific questions about, what do you charge this type of client or in this city, our Slack community and our forum on the website are excellent places to put a specific question to you, and that way, the information is kept within our membership. Your client's not going to go find some tweet that you posted about what you're charging them. So it's,
This is true. Unless
this
your
is
client
a
is on
good.
Slack.
Well, maybe, but it's this is the value of the networking within your peers, and there have been some great conversations in our forum on Slack about specific things like those.
Yeah.
John asks, some of you, I think all of us have been with the Guild since the beginning, just as I was a hard rocker, which is the term for some founding members, but not on the board of directors until just last year. But John asks, what's the biggest benefit that we each have received by being a member of the Guild? And feel free, you guys on social media, to share your biggest benefits as well. We'd love to hear what you're finding useful in the community. Does anyone want to take that one? We can go around the room.
Let's go around the room.
Sure. Start us off.
I'll start.
Go.
I think there are so many benefits, but I think my favorite one, honestly, is getting to know more people in the presentation community, because we are we tend to be siloed when we are the pigeonholed PowerPoint person at a job. For a while, about 10 years, I was the only one. But getting to know all of you guys a lot more, and then having that mental health support that presentation people tend to need is a lifesaver. I'm not even kidding. It just completely turns the day around, is being able to connect with everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Mine is definitely the people connections too. My favorite time waster during the day of just like a little mental health check is the Slack channel for Facepalm. Because it's like reading, like every single post on there is a post I totally have experienced and I can 100% relate to, client behavior or just something that went wrong technically. And it's just nice to know that even though we're a small company, there are people out there that are facing the same frustrations, day in and day out.
Jen says that she likes having people to ping about resources or new presentation software or tips.
Yes, the software is a great point, or hardware. That's the first place I go, is our community when I'm like trying to buy, say, any sort of webinar gear or things like that.
Yeah, just resources in general. I think for me too, it is just kind of bringing together this really super disparate community of crazy presentation people. So what you guys said.
We are crazy.
Yeah, we're all a little insane to be here.
I think so.
What about you, Tony?
I don't know if any of you said people, but people.
Yeah.
And and not just because of we have these skills and sets of knowledge in common, but to me, as a self-employed person, and also previously as the sole PowerPoint person at a large organization, it's so liberating and eye-opening to see people that are just like me that have these similar problems and issues. And as a self-employed person, it's what are other people doing to gain work, find clients, network. How are you billing? What does your contract look like? What does your non-disclosure look like? And so when we formed the guild, one of the things that we knew we wanted to put up were some of the tools of our trade outside of the technology, like a standard contract, like what are the other documents there?
Cindy has an intake form. She put an
intake form.
up.
Exactly that. It's like,
Things like that.
oh, here's what everybody else is asking when they start a new client or a new project. It's like, this is good stuff. So I get a lot of value out of that because, at the end of the day, I'm good at some things. I'm horrible at others. And I want to learn from others. I don't want to have to learn painful lessons all by myself.
Great point. Yes, people to share the pain for sure.
Yeah.
Did you think of something that was up there, Steffi? What?
Yeah.
Was there?
Oh,
saw
the safe
hands.
font. Well, I went. The safe font list is up there, and then I was like, but that's technical. That's not outside of what we do. So.
Oh, I use that safe font list all the time,
Huge
constantly.
props. Julie,
Yes,
again.
Julie
Yes.
C.
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's good stuff up there. To
There's
dig
a
for
lot
it a
of
little
chat
bit.
happening. I want to make sure that we're not missing it. I know, Bethany, you've been doing a good job keeping an eye on the chat here.
Keeping an eye on it. Yep, we've got people chiming in on the pricing. Always very helpful.
Yeah, a lot of people, it looks like, do combinations of hourly and project. And I should clarify, that's probably more like what I do. I give my clients a high, here's an estimate. I think it's going to take this long. I think it's about this. But once I know that I've started hitting out, and things are out of scope, like I define the project fairly closely and how many rounds of changes and things like that. And when it goes over that, then like you, Tony, I have to start saying, we're kind of hitting the top end here. But yeah.
There's different kinds of projects too. So I guess I do project based because when I go teach, I said do. But when I teach or facilitate, that kind of workshop kind of stuff, that's project based.
I have to go back to the safe font list. Julie just posted this, and I should have thought about it. We do have cloud fonts available also now, and so you might want to head to designtopresent.com. That's Julie's site, and she has a more up to date list of safe cloud fonts. So throwing that out there for you.
Yeah, Cindy's asking more about that. So I think Julie, could you maybe just put your URL in the Facebook chat so people can find that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's helpful. I think a lot of my clients are mystified by the cloud font thing. That's something we haven't really tackled on how to explain and work with clients on. So that's something we need to get better at. And see, right? Julie's here to challenge me and teach me. So
There you go.
that's
Oh,
what it's all about.
Yeah, I think there's a good explanation in either on the site or in the actual document. I can't remember, but there is some good information about that. And I don't know, maybe we can talk Julie into talking more about cloud fonts specifically in Inspired by Design. Now I know she has talked about them, so we could also go back and just promote that one. But just giving more details maybe.
Perfect. So Julie popped the URL to this specific topic in the Facebook chat. If you're watching from YouTube, you can see it on your screen now, but you can find that at her site, Design to Present. Should we move to certifications? I know on the survey we had several cert-related questions, and that seems like a popular topic. So we can start with those survey questions, and of course, send us your cert-related questions through your separate platform chats.
We can answer what we can.
Any questions?
We will answer whatever.
I'll
any
answer
question.
anything.
See, Steffi's here doing the tech part. Yeah. You got the certs.
Steffi's here.
I'll try to answer anything.
she goes.
Okay.
Episode 22.
There we go. So you can find that on the website.
Cloud fonts.
On our website is the Inspired by Design episode 22. Okay, so question from the survey: when will the next level of cert be available? So for those of you who don't know certifications, we have certification. We have a specialist level. We're also planning 2 additional levels, and then we will probably need to go back and start updating the originals. So we are in process on that. Akko, do you want to?
We are. In fact, I was talking to Glenna about that today. No, we had this question this morning. Okay, so let me back up. I'm teaching a certifications boot camp this week, and I see a few of you who are in the boot camp on our chat. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Props to you. Last year, before Presentation Summit, since we were all in the same place at the same time live before COVID, we did a live certification boot camp, and it's not a PowerPoint training. It's a class to help you be able to pass the certification exam. Now I know that most of the people who are watching this have the skills to do it, so that's not the problem. It's more about taking the test and being prepared. And so we took it online. So I'm doing a certification boot camp for this week and next week. And we set it up for an hour a day because I figure, and people are starting to confirm this, but my thought was that people could carve out an hour in their day, just like any other meeting. And that it would be easier than taking a whole day off for training or a whole day off to go to a city for training, even if we did it live. So I've been doing this boot camp, and today Glenna Shaw, who is actually our guild board, she's on our board of directors. She's the director who was most responsible for the certifications. Glenna worked her butt off for a couple of years to get these going, and I'm so amazed and impressed. And she came in today and walked us through the test taking process and the practice test and all of that. So today, people were asking about the same thing, like when are we going to have it? We had initially hoped to have the next level ready at the end of the year, but COVID hit, and so we're backed up a little bit. But I hope to have it at least, sometime next year is what I anticipate. Maybe not quite as early as we had hoped, but it is high priority. Jim.
That's right, it is.
Woo camp. We had a really good time. I wasn't sure what to expect in that first one. We had 19 people, you guys. It was so much fun.
Awesome.
Steffi and Glenna were there helping, and it was just, we had a ball. It was really fun. 19 of you.
So
I couldn't
exciting.
believe that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Which is how many we have in the online current one, I think. 20.
20.
Yeah.
Pretty
20.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good.
Cindy asked if being certified has changed your business, and I didn't certify myself, so I should probably get on that.
Yeah.
But two of my designers did, and we used it in marketing materials. We put it on our blog and out in our newsletter, and we actually did get a little bit of traction. People were curious about what that meant. But I think it does help sell. Miguel's comment on Facebook, if you've seen it, says, "Is there anything worse than listening to?" I do. I'm the PowerPoint master from the clients. I just don't have time, and so being able to say you're certified, it carries weight.
Yeah, I think the goal is to help. Again, it's that help legitimize what you do and be able to quantify your skills, because it's really hard, because you can tell anybody you're good at PowerPoint, and like, what does that mean? So there's so much more to it. It's not just PowerPoint, it's presentations. And we have a presentation specialist with a PowerPoint focus, because all the software is different. We do anticipate having other products. I think we'll probably have a Google Slides certification. I think we'll probably have a Keynote certification, maybe PowerPoint online as well as Google Slides. Maybe it's an online type of, I don't know. We haven't scoped it all out yet, but we'll get there, because we have to start somewhere. Some of the best advice I got when we were starting was start simply and imperfectly, and we have to take the baby steps. And the imperfect is hard for us because we're used to our stuff going up on 30-foot screens, and when you have a mistake on your 30-foot screen, then you got real egg on your face. So we're all perfectionists, so that's hard to do it imperfectly, but we had to get going. So
I'm loving the comments.
I know. I'm really good
This
at
is like
PowerPoint
very
now.
similar to the
Yeah.
face palm.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Welcome to it's our tribe.
But Vashta,
Mhm.
I hope I pronounced that correctly, asks, what's the best way to leverage the Guild community for hiring presentation designers as a presentation designer?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I have actually gotten work. I worked with Cliff Atkinson. He posted a job on the job boards channel on our Slack, and I responded and worked with him on that one. I haven't hired employees from this, but I have found freelancers. And so freelancers, great resource. There's a job board on the website, which isn't as frequently used, but the Slack is really nice because it's immediate access and it's always on. So yes, I think that leveraging that online community is a great way to find either employees or freelancers or people that you can hand projects to that when you just can't take it on. Anybody else? Has anyone else found that, used it?
Yeah, I actually got a client who posted for a job on the job board, and she was an absolutely excellent client. I couldn't have asked for a better one. I don't know. There's just something about going to a professional organization that specializes in the thing you need. Like having the awareness to do that seems to bring in the better clients or prospective employers, at least in some part. I mean, not everybody's perfect, but it worked out pretty well.
We have quite a few full-time jobs that are posted on our job board also.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
sweet.
interesting because we have so many freelancers in our community, but we also have a lot of people who work full-time for large companies and sometimes small companies. But yeah, we do have jobs posted on the job board. You don't have to be a guild member to purchase a job board posting.
I guess I'm like showing my hand as a total slacker. We use it Slide Rabbit, so I'm literally just on Slack all the time, as you can probably tell from the board Slack.
All right. Yeah. But
Slack
different
is a great
mechanisms.
tool.
Yeah, I
Some-
really enjoy it.
I find it convenient.
Yeah. Just a note on the wider job market for people like us. I've got alerts set up at different job boards and different websites telling me, hey, this came in for presentation XYZ, presentation specialist, presentation designer. And even with our current, as Julie called it, damndemic, we are noticing that there is no shortage of companies, medium and especially large, that are looking for people like us.
Mm-hmm.
This is an actually good time to be in this profession, and I think it's growing. And I think LinkedIn's acknowledgement that this is a real sphere of design is further proof that being a presentation specialist, designer, ninja, whatever you want to call yourself, we're doing okay. So it's a good time to be us, I guess is what I'm saying.
I'm curious. It is a good time to be us, I think. I'm curious from people, audience at home. Has COVID affected your business other than like maybe being forced to work from home? I get that, but if you are, whether you're employed at a company or whether you're freelance, either one, it may have affected you either positively or negatively. I know that in the last recession, I think my business grew, and I think a lot of us did because companies were downsizing and outsourcing this type of work.
This is true.
So I'm curious. So if you guys, if you type in chat or if you want to share, I'll be curious. So yeah.
What about you, Echo? Like, did it change for you?
I mean, yes and no. Things slowed down a little bit, but not as drastically as some others. But, I often get a bit of a lull in like June, July, August anyway. Not a huge lull, but that summer thing. What did change for me was traveling. I do a lot of corporate meetings like Troy, who's manning our broadcast, and, some of the others of you. I do a lot of that. And so I travel about 25% of my time, and that stopped, just flat out stopped. We did have some of our conferences that went virtual, so that work was still there. Bethany, we worked together on some of those.
We did.
Yeah, so it didn't completely, like, it stopped. Like, I haven't gone anywhere, but it didn't completely stop. So, yeah. But, you know, all in all, it's been fine. I find it difficult to, I'm better at getting things done when I'm busy. When I'm slower, it's harder for me to focus on it and get things done. That's what
I am the exact same way.
Yes, me
I've been
too.
struggling with that the last few weeks.
Yes. I have to create things for myself to do just so that I can get like the regular stuff that I actually have to have done. Like I'll take on like a new, we'll write a blog post or something just to
Right.
keep my head in the game. Otherwise I'm out the door.
Yeah. I just saw somebody
There are
came to
some
a screeching
folks-
halt. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to say, keep an eye on chat. It's different for different folks. Some are, as you said, came.
We're
to
getting all the
screeching halt.
answers.
Some are busier than ever, but I know that Christine works in pharma. I don't think pharma's going away.
No.
No.
I'm not going away.
But I think, overall, yes, I think it's a mixed bag out there. And I know one of our very good members actually has done a successful pivot to training and online training rather than in-person training.
Nice.
That may be a hard pivot to do, to retool your materials to do that, but sometimes that's what it takes in this environment.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Christine says she's busier than ever. So Christine, let us know if you're hiring. There's probably plenty of people out there that'd be willing to help out with some pharma slides. I work with a lot of pharma clients, so those stayed steady. Echo and I had the virtual conferences. But yeah, we had a lot of stuff push out. I was really worried for about a month. And now we're in our summer kind of slower period, our little lull. But I would say it's back to not normal, but like maybe 75% of normal. It's back to not as scary.
Exactly. I'm not as freaked out as I was. That's always, yeah.
Yeah. Glenn said his came to a screeching halt. That sounds bad. So I'm
That
sorry
sounds
about
bad.
that.
Sorry. Well, maybe we need to throw some freelance at him.
I know. Check those job
I was
boards.
thinking, do I have any projects?
So I'm looking at our cheat sheet here. Was that all we wanted to talk about, certifications, and move on?
Oh, there was one more question about certifications. Someone said, I really like the idea of the certification, but I'm having trouble convincing my employer.
We know that, and this is high on our priority is to advocate for the certifications with the business community and help them understand what you get. Like a lot of times they want any certification. I know this morning we were talking and one of our class members was saying that in order to do training at her very large company, she had to be certified. Now this was 5 or 6 years ago, before ours, but she got MOS certified, and that test is designed for high school students, and it requires 150 hours of experience. What does that tell you? What is that, like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah.
So I think that for what we do, we have to try to make inroads with the business community to help them understand why this is legitimate and why being a certified presentation specialist actually means that you do know your stuff, because the test isn't a walk. It's not a cakewalk. It's not super easy, because we want you to be able to prove that you have the skills that you say you do. And so this is important, and we're trying to figure out the best way to evangelize that. And so if you have ideas and thoughts, oh my gosh, please send them, because this is what we're working on. We're trying to,
Early plug for, I'll talk a little bit later about all the things that we need as an organization. If you're looking for ways to get more involved, we have a lot of skill sets that we can talk about, but early plug for that. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out to the board with ideas, or if you've got some bandwidth and you have an idea for what we could be doing. We want to be actively engaging with you, and all the better if you want to take part in bringing that vision, whatever it might be, to life. So we want to be accessible. We're all on Slack, and you can reach us via email at ideas@presentationguild.org. Cindy asked, yes, why do they expire after 2 years?
It's because the software changes so frequently, and so the certifications, like the whole goal behind them is to get to test real world skills, and so we want to make sure that your skills are kept up to date and that you can tell your employees. It's not like I got certified 10 years ago, and I know you still have that experience, but we would like to keep it up to date. That's a pretty common thing
It's
for
pretty
a
common,
certification.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm self-taught and haven't pursued any certifications either. So again, this is about legitimizing. I did lose a client a few years ago. They wanted to know if I was Microsoft certified. And I'm like, what, MCT? Like, that's not even like a no. And I was thinking about the MOS test, but I had tech edited some tests for Microsoft, and I couldn't tell him, dude, I wrote the test. I can't, That's what I wanted to tell him, and I lost that job. So to some people, it is important, but it's we need to legitimize that. We really do. So.
Great.
Cool.
Oh, and we did want to actually issue a little be on the lookout about the certifications too. Echo is engaged right now in the online boot camp. It closed at 20 places, so if you didn't get to sign up for that, please be on the lookout. We will be releasing those videos as a video training course that will also include a live question and answer session or two, so that you don't so that you can get those questions answered even if you just are taking the video version of that training. So we'll obviously this online one is still running, and then we'll need some time to video edit, which if you have video editing skills, drop us a line. But we'll be keep an eye out on the newsletter and on Slack for when that will be available. Cool.
All right, moving on.
All right, anything else certifications before we move on that you guys want to point out? Let's see. Cindy says, yes.
Clear.
Great.
Self-taught. Yep.
Yeah.
Member engagement. Well, let's see what came in from surveys. Advocacy. As we said earlier, we are among, what we have among our chief objectives is to be advocates for you guys. Advocates for our field, advocates for our profession, and want to present a united front as to who we are, what we do, why we are of value, and how we can help just business and education and nonprofits. I think all of us have clients in all of those fields. So you may have noticed on social media and some of our posts when this pandemic hit, one of the things we came out with was a free 6-month membership for educators. And we saw some decent returns on that. A lot of teachers, educators were realizing, I don't know the first thing about converting my classes to online, or how do I use these tools to accomplish what I need. And so we've seen them come in steadily into membership. Do you guys have any insights on their level of engagement, or are they asking a lot of questions? What do you think?
I have seen questions from at least one of the educator members on the membership facing Slack, down in tips and tricks, and virtual. I think one in virtual presenting. I think a lot of them, when they emailed us about membership, expressed a lot of interest in trying to figure out how to move to virtual presenting. So I think there's been some value for them there.
Cool.
Specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as advocacy goes, I know, well, my daughter always comes into the house after school when she was in school and complained that her teachers didn't know how to PowerPoint at all, because she's sitting in the back of the class with her glasses on and they're putting up things in 10-point font in yellow and pink on red, and she's learning from us, and she wants them all to join the guild so they can learn better. I should have her on here to talk. But she's
awesome.
but apart from that kind of advocacy, I feel like as a guild, not only should we be reaching out to our teachers and other presentation designers, especially in times that like we are in now, but overall, even when times are normal, whatever that means, if you guys could think of a way for us to help out or reach out to or methods to help out the poorer communities, the communities with bad access out in the country, inner city schools, reach out to more teachers and bring awareness of presentation design as a career to kids in high school, in college, so that they get those skills leveled up early on. You know, presentation skills, designing them, giving them, and advising on them, it helps in everything. So I would love to hear ideas from anybody. Ideas at presentationguild.org. I ran out of room. Or in the chat or whatever. If anybody wants to, volunteer to help out with something like that, it would be amazing. Because I think it's something
Yes,
that
please.
as a guild we should do.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think another great use of your commenting on your platforms right now is tell us what you want us, what the guild should be doing, and what you want to see us do, because we're all about creating that value for you. So, feel free to send suggestions here or to ideas. We do a lot around education and webinars, and there's book clubs, and you've got the blogs and all the resources on the site, but and we're keeping up with all that stuff, but we really want to know from you guys, what are you finding useful and what are you using on the regular? And if there are ideas for things that you'd like to see, we'd like to hear them. I think one thing we were really excited about this year that got COVID canceled was starting up local meetups, and we were so gung-ho about that in the beginning of the year, and for obvious reasons that has been pushed to at least next year, but that's something that we think we would really like to see, so let us know if that is of interest for you. Ooh, Christina's suggesting a career day.
Christine did a great career day presentation,
I forgot.
by the way.
Oh.
That's a great point.
That's
we should all
really
be doing
cool.
that.
I wonder if we could. That might be kind of cool. If we
Cindy
could-
mentions that she tried to teach at a local college. I actually looked into that as well
I did
when
too.
we lived in Boulder, and you're right, nobody was interested. It was very frustrating.
one of my, like, the dream is that we have actually a presentation. I don't even know what you call it. Presentation designer, presentation specialist,
Architect?
presentation master. Like, it's a 4-year degree. You get a bachelor's in presentations, like, just like you get it in journalism or business or whatever.
Yep.
I want that to happen. I want that to be a thing. I mean, Tony, remember that one college was doing a couple of courses and they would not
I
even
was just about
respond
to
to
say.
us. And I know
Yeah.
that some of our board members have been approached by different places, but like, I don't have an instructional designer that I can just turn over and say, here, create this course. But I mean, wouldn't that be awesome if we could convince design schools and or just 4-year liberal arts colleges to add that to a curriculum? I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? We'd have to make the curriculum and we'd have to do that. But I don't know. That's just kind of like, I don't know, living the dream,
It's a
right?
long way off.
Yeah.
It's a long way
There,
off.
Yeah.
There's a tweet I made maybe 2 years ago, springtime, because I had noticed a job ad come up at a university in Southern California. It might have been like UCLA
remember you
or
talking
UC
about that.
Davis or something like this.
It's UC
Where-
Irvine. UC
Irvine,
Irvine.
thank you. Where they were advertising for a presentation design associate professor or something like that. And I tried to contact them, questions about the position, and I found out all I could. And, here's, just the black sheep that we still are. it was being offered through their Department of Music and Dance. Or theater
Okay.
and dance, or something like
The school of speech, essentially.
That's-
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Performance. It's performance.
it is a performance.
It is.
It's very theatrical. We have a lot of elements, staging
Yeah.
and script writing and
There's a
Juggling
lot
it.
of lot
Wow.
of potential there.
And then I started looking at, well, okay, across higher education in the United States, are there any other positions like this? I didn't find any.
Cindy says she doesn't. Oh, sorry. There we go. That she did a 4-year degree at an art college, and the presentation isn't much different in terms of process, but it's the medium that's different. And that's kind of the reason I think it's really important to get into design schools, because when I'm trying to hire, Slide Rabbit, all of our designers have 4-year design degrees, and the problem is that we have to teach from scratch in PowerPoint. And in in design programs, you learn your Adobe softwares inside and out. And software is part of the course work. And I think, having PowerPoint be introduced in that way could be really beneficial, because there's a lot of people who want to do design for a career. And, as you move into the business world, you're going to be working in office. And for the most part, you might get to do some fun InDesign projects and some signage and cool things occasionally, but people are going to want to edit their stuff, and especially their slides. And slides are the language of business. It's like such a strong communication medium that if designers who have those design skills and that wonderful design brain have also the software skills when they graduate, they can go right into a pretty lucrative career.
And one thing you have to remember is, when you're coming out and you're getting your first design job, you might get into a job that doesn't pay very well and they don't have a large budget. They might not have any Adobe programs, they not be able to afford them, and you're stuck designing in Word and PowerPoint, and Office is your go-to. So learning it inside and out helps you not hate it, because I can guarantee you, when I started my design career, I was not in presentations and I hated it. I did not want to be in PowerPoint ever.
Well, there's such a stigma, and that's, I think, what we have to overcome in the design schools. Honestly, it's about helping people know the tools, but not being afraid of presentation. I kind of agree with Julie. I think it is a different medium. I did a lot of print layout through my career early on, because I was a journalism major in college, or a minor, whatever. Anyway, I did a lot of that in high school and college, and I feel like it's different.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, honestly, there's a little bit of a down the nose opinion about PowerPoint in design communities. And that's where it comes from, is that it's not taken seriously in design school as a potential career. So I think a lot of people have to relearn that it really is art. There's an art and a science to presentation.
It's not about the tool.
That's right.
The tool behind the tool.
That's right.
Exactly. Here you go. Jen had to learn in real time. Woohoo! Go, girl.
Oh yeah.
So did I. Yeah. Crash course on the job for sure.
I talked myself into a job doing slides, and had to learn how to use PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Same.
Just trial by fire for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some really good chat going on about
There really
graphic
is.
design.
I want to just sit back and read.
I know.
Visual
I'm gonna just sit here. and read.
That's a titillating video to watch. Okay, I'm gonna read this now. Choose some candy.
Another. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
Just real quick. One of the neat things about guild members and the other directors and people involved in this whole thing is that we're coming at it from different backgrounds and in different ways. I knew I came in through the back door. I was at a publications department as a writer and editor, and they threw a Macintosh at me and said, "Here, learn Aldus PageMaker." And so I became a desktop publisher. And so I did that job for a while, and this other job came along where I would need to make PowerPoint for management consultants. And what's PowerPoint? Well, I have some language skills and I have a little bit of layout skills. Maybe I can just talk my way into this job and lo and behold, I did. And a decade later, I was cranking out slides by the pound. But that was all on the job learning, and I took with me some really bad habits about bullet points and clip art and no sense of color, design, space, white space, balance. I did all the wrong things, and it was just through application and learning that I got better.
Do any of us here have a design degree? Have their actual education in design?
Oh.
I have a master's in new media.
No, and I don't consider myself a designer
No, I don't
either.
either.
That's Tara's side of the business.
I called you.
My business partner at Slide Rabbit.
Yeah.
Tara's the one who keeps us tight on design because I'm definitely more of a written word thinker for sure.
I'm definitely more of a technical person than a designer. Like I can do better than my clients, but I also know what real trained designers can do, and so I can't in good conscience call myself a designer.
That's how I feel too.
That's just the reality.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's another nice thing about the guild too. We have some folks that are such technical wizards
We do.
that
right.
create tools that save me and you and a lot of people listening to this boatloads of hours. Steve Rinsberg's Thor hammer alone. I showed it to a client, and she just wouldn't shut up about it for the rest of the week. It's right there, and it's free, and I know the guy. If you have any questions, just here, write them. But what a wealth of just the diversity of the skills that we have in the guild and the membership. I love all of these ideas and all of these practices, and I'm never going to stop learning. I'm never going to catch up, and I'm okay with that.
And I love that because the more varied our membership and backgrounds and all the knowledge we bring, because that's basically what a presentation is. You need to know a little bit of everything to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's actually, I think that shows in the salary survey. I think that I think most of our respondents have a 4-year college degree. I think
Correct.
that that's pretty common, and higher. But you have to know so many different things. You have to be able to correct your client's poor grammar.
Yes.
Fix their stupid punctuation. I don't really mean it that way.
Yeah, and they're proofreading, exactly right.
Exactly.
I myself proofreading all the time.
I see your
All that
T-shirt.
Glenna
Yeah.
had one today that said, "Oh crop." These are the best T-shirts.
Oh my gosh, that is a design nerd joke to the maximum, and I love it.
I still want one.
That is so great.
Good.
The best presentation industry T-shirt I saw was at Presentation Summit 2015, maybe 16. The team from PowerPoint, from Microsoft, had these brown T-shirts, and with a big lowercase single word, it just said present. It could also say present. Do you remember those shirts?
I
Yes.
do. I remember those. We all
And I
coveted
thought,
them.
That's clever. That's yes. You have to be present, and you will present. But getting back to us needing to have a lot of skills. Yes, we and that's another unusual thing about our field: grammar, punctuation, spelling, color theory, storytelling, data visualization,
Coaching.
dongles.
Dongles.
Yeah.
Dongles. We need to know dongles.
You're right.
So yes,
Yeah.
and coaching and speech and performance and presence and there's so many things, and so yes, but we have our work cut out for us.
One thing I want to be sure to mention before we wrap is the upcoming another Be on the Lookout notification. We had the pleasure of running a think tank with some of the preeminent thinkers in our field and futurists And you'd probably recognize some of the names like Nancy Duarte and Nick Morgan. And we got to get together with them and have a really lovely several-hour conversation about where our presentation's headed, which COVID spawned the idea. But really, as we see the U.S. at least continue to struggle to contain the virus and work, the possibilities of going back to work in a meaningful way are getting further off. So what does that mean for how the industry will change in the coming years? So we are, from that conversation, putting together a lovely white paper, which will be available soon. So keep an eye out for that. We'll announce it in the newsletter and on social media. So it should be easy to keep on track, but keep an eye out, because I think that's going to be a real interesting resulting thought piece about the industry.
I agree. Huge thanks to Sandy for pulling that
Good
together.
teaser.
Yes.
And Leah Barnikova for
Here,
moderating. And yeah, they did an amazing job. Cool.
Yeah, it was a really interesting
Brandon!
conversation.
Hi.
Wow, Brandon.
I haven't talked to you for years. He does all that corporate stuff with me. Or
Hey,
used
Brandon.
to.
Hi, Brandon.
This is totally like a party.
Yes,
Some
Cindy.
people come in late, but it's no problem coming
right.
in.
That's
whenever
right.
you did.
So
Wow, good chat. We are at an hour, but if you guys want to keep going, we can keep going. Yeah.
We have just one more question from the survey that I thought we might want to discuss.
Sure.
We got a question about kind of what it's like being on the board. Board elections are coming up. We do elections every year, yes, and so board elections are coming up. So we did want to talk a little bit about board participation, and in general, just ways to get more involved with in the guild itself, and also, just want to talk about our experience on board.
am I lagging?
I
Somebody
thought that was me.
Yep, but you're back.
Okay.
You both were. It was exciting.
I think you were Oh,
Anybody?
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe the
We're good.
internet
Say
in the
that
world
again.
went out.
Just say that again, Bethany. I didn't
Yeah.
hear what you said.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
maybe I was lagging.
Maybe. I don't know.
The question on the survey was, I'm thinking about running for the board. What is the board participation like? So if any of us want to talk about our experience on sitting on the board.
It's busy. You put into it as much time as you can is what we ask. If you take on, so depends on what you want to take on, what you want to spearhead, what you're passionate about. But I know that a lot of my time that I'm not working or momming it is guild time. It's a lot of fun. It can be very tiring, but it's very rewarding. And I'm very happy that I am on the board and still on the board, and that these guys keep me around.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun, which is nice. And I will say we're definitely part board and part staff. So we run a lot of these
It's
things.
a working board.
It is a working board. So you will be expected to chip in, and not just to make decisions, but also to help pull together events or marketing. And it's all about what your passion is. So you kind of end up fitting into the board the same way you fit into the guild. Just it all depends on what your skill set is and what you're passionate. Steve mentions that there's a lot of opportunities for volunteers. Yes, you don't have to get on the board.
Yes.
You don't have to do a full board commitment to get more involved. We have a need for volunteers of many, many, many different kinds. In fact, I had some of the team leads on the board send me some thoughts about that. So I'll just rattle these off. And if this sounds like you, send us an email at ideas@presentationguild.org, or hit us on Slack or wherever is your favorite communication device. So we are looking for people with skill sets from project management and organizational skills. We need designers. So those of you out there who are the design people, which is not not the four of us, we've just decided, please, we definitely need help with our marketing and that sort of thing. Writers, video editing, which I mentioned earlier, social media experience. Tony is just a total warrior when it comes to the social media, and he's great and he's out there doing it. But we could use help. WordPress experience. That's all Steffi. That's why she's so busy with all the WordPress.
Share the
PR. Yep. Got to have the website running. That's important. PR, media relations, hosting or organizing events or virtual events for now, and potentially down the road, live events. Things like things like book club or guild gatherings or open houses like this. Another thing that was mentioned on this survey was a potential peer program, which we haven't addressed directly, but we think is such an interesting idea. So whoever sent that in on the survey, thank you so much. I think a peer program could address the question about kind of how do you charge and that sort of thing. Could really benefit the guild. So that's kind of on our hot list. If you want to help with any of the things that I just mentioned, anything that we've talked about today.
Steve.
Steve says, "Are you an accountant?" Yes, Steve is our treasurer, and he does an excellent job. But we do need people with skill sets in any sort of like accounting and bookkeeping is helpful as well. So, motion graphics.
Yeah.
Hello, friend.
Absolutely.
You're my new best friend.
Yeah.
I bet if you have a skill set, whoever you are, if you have a skill set, we can use it. We can figure out a way to use it. So think about, whether you'd be willing to volunteer some of your time and energy to help make the guild a better place. And if you want to run, you'll see a lot of stuff starting in the fall. Elections will be held in, I think we decided late October. So keep an eye out for those announcements and join the board. It's a fun challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So much variety. And getting back for a second to what you mentioned as you were going through your list, book club. In case you didn't know, we have a book club hosted by the smart, wonderful, capable John Ramwell. And we're discussing Can You Hear Me by Dr. Nick Morgan right now. Next week is the author chat. And it's just one of many regular things that we've got going for you guys right now. Some of you on this open house, you're there, you're showing up, you know and love these things already. But just to go run through some of the other offerings real quickly, Inspired by Design is our quick 20-minute, 25-minute webinar on a specific topic. By Julie Turberg and Nolan Hames. You really cannot find better, quick learning that is germane to us on the web anywhere. I challenge you. I will bet you $1 million. It's just on point, and it's so good, and it's current. It is the latest tools. It's the latest techniques. It's all killer, no filler.
I'm going to steal that line.
Yeah.
Need that t-shirt.
It's not original to me, believe me. Our Slack channel, our blog, our social media, guild gatherings. Every once in a while, we will have a kind of an open-ended chat session where we just talk about maybe a particular topic, maybe open-ended. Maybe it's the holidays, and since a lot of us don't have an office party to go to, this is our office party.
Yes.
What else? We have occasional special focus webinars on a brand new development or a new tool. Like we had Prezi give a webinar once. We had
Haiku Deck. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
We did do the Haiku Deck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had Nick Morgan address us when the pandemic hit and talking about how to present online. So we've had both, topical, up-to-the-minute kinds of special events. We have regular events. We have all the various communications and networking tools. Um, if we're doing poorly or mediocre in any of them, please let us know. We're always looking for ways to improve them.
Or if we're doing well, that's all.
Yes, doing well. Compliments are good too.
But sometimes I'll post something thinking, "Oh, people will like this," and I'm the only one who likes it. So let me know what you guys want, and I will focus more of the content toward your needs. Because at the end of the day, this is all about you guys and what you need and what you want from us.
Mm-hmm.
That's all for me.
Well said.
Thank you.
And if there's potentially, I feel like we've been kind of assuming that everybody on here is a member, but if you're not and you're listening just to figure out kind of what's going on with the Guild and what we are, I hope we answered those questions today. And hopefully, you would join us and have access to all the stuff we're talking about, because you're more than welcome in our community.
Oh, heck yeah.
Open arms, big open arms.
Open arms, PowerPoint karaoke. That's right. We are going to do.
Ah, yes.
That's right.
We did that. That's
that
hard.
was fun. Rick did.
It's so hard.
All right.
It's scary.
Well, I think questions have slowed. Any last minute questions you want to toss our way?
That would be me. Yes, thank you. Well, come join us. That would be me.
What does? Hi, Megan.
Good to meet you.
What does?
Welcome, Megan.
What does?
He's keeping us in suspense.
I know, Miguel. Come on.
Miguel.
What does what?
For those of you who don't know what PowerPoint karaoke is, I highly recommend you check it out. Rick, I think Rick led that virtual event, and we should do another one. I think because it's really fun. You basically have to get up there and present to slides that you've never seen before. So it can be a real
weird.
And they're weird, and it'll give you that nervous karaoke feeling that you're that high of performing on stage.
What does Prezi do the skilled PowerPointer can't do? And I'm going to be biased and say absolutely nothing, but I didn't say
actually,
that.
I'm going to say that no, because Prezi works really well with Zoom, and you can do these. You can do those like whiteboarding things where you have content on top of you as the speaker.
Prezi video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Prezi
they did
video.
introduce that, didn't they?
I couldn't think of the name of it, but they do
I've never
certain
seen that.
features like that are.
They started doing live charts too, and they're almost. Oh, they're getting there. They're getting there.
Yeah. they're
Yeah.
getting there.
There are some very interesting developments happening, not only in Prezi, but out there on the web, where matching up of live view, video, head, whatever, and your content either behind you or with you is coming up. Julie Turberg, during a board conference call the other day, brought up a new site called That's mmhmm.com.
Yes, I got on the list. I can't wait to see.
Basically turns you into your own little TV studio where
That's
you
so
can have
cool.
any graphics and video objects, text behind you, and you can shrink yourself, you can disappear yourself, you can swap yourself in with somebody else who wants to be on the call. It's in beta right now, so keep an eye out for that. Actually, let me back up. Don't keep an eye out for that. That's my job. I'm going to let you guys know
That's true.
on social
true,
media.
that's true.
So
And then-
I do it so you don't have to.
There you go. And then Jen
But-
can highlight it in the newsletter because she does put out the newsletter every month too.
Let us take
Maybe.
a moment here to appreciate Jen. Thank you
Yes.
so much for
Seriously.
all your
Jen,
hard work on
oh
the
my gosh,
newsletter.
thank you. Our newsletters get out consistently now that I'm not like solely in charge of them. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you.
John Ramlo is mentioning StreamYard. StreamYard's a new tool that we're using right now. And we
pretty
haven't
cool.
demonstrated it yet, but all four of us are in the studio. Any one of us could take over and drive and share a screen or mute the others. It's got a lot more stuff than Zoom or Teams or some of the other stuff that's out there.
This is
Um,
pretty cool.
This is nice. This is working, and I'm really liking both the audio and the video. Except for that one lagging moment, I think this has been pretty smooth. Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it's
so.
been fantastic. Let us know too, guys, if you liked this event, because we have been considering holding more open houses like this. The guild gatherings are kind of more like big Zoom parties where everybody's around. The open houses, we're here to answer your questions on social media. So let us know if you liked this. We should point out, Steve, great point. You do not need to be a member to sign up for the newsletter. So you can, Megan, keep track of what's going on without taking the plunge, but we recommend you take the plunge.
Hi, Laura. And Laura's saying Canva is rolling out a lot of new
Canva's doing
features.
some neat
Canva's
stuff.
great. And
Yeah.
Cindy is telling us loom.com.
Loom.
And I haven't checked into Ludus
I'm
lately,
not-
but it was big there.
Ludus,
it was
yeah.
doing some good stuff. So there are a lot of different tools out there. And
PowerPoint's going to get a run for its money on web-based presentations.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Loom. All right. Well, look at
Which
Loom.
is why
Thank
we're the
you for that.
Presentation Guild and not the PowerPoint Guild.
That's right.
There's a lot of
Exactly.
stuff out there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
G Slides Guild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you notice we don't have slides today.
Right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
We don't have slides.
Marsh, if you're out
Marsh.
there, I know. You're like,
Hi,
"Where are the
Marsh."
slides?"
Marsh Maxine always wants us to have slides. It's funny.
But that's another good point is for ideas at presentationguild.org. If you have ideas or about content, specifically blog posts or articles that you want us to write, if it's a tutorial or a talk about different kinds of software and how they work, just send us your ideas and we can generate content based on your feedback.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you're a writer, even better. We'll say good. execute.
Volunteer?
Go for it.
Ooh, we got
I
Yeah, there as well.
Google Doc
that
link
Glenn?
from Glenn Mead in the chat. Should I
Oh.
open this?
I don't know.
I'm doing it.
I'm scared.
I'll take a chance.
Do it live.
Yeah, don't do it live.
Ooh.
Don't share your screen.
Online conference software
Oh, nice. Okay, now you can.
and its features. That's cool. Thanks,
Thank
Glenn.
you, Glenn.
Wow. Are we going to put that?
Wow.
Okay, I guess now maybe we
I
need
have
to.
not
like,
heard of some of
grab-
these.
Look at all these members just looking out for each other and staying at the top of industry.
Oh my gosh.
Warms my heart.
Tony, could you put that out on like Twitter? Would that be
Sure.
easier? I mean, we could show it.
Is
Troy,
that-
can
if
you
that's
show
public, I can.
Can you show it
share
here on the
link.
screen? It's a long link, so I'm thinking that maybe it's better.
Well, I can share my screen if you want.
Yeah, if it's up on your tab.
do go for it.
It is. Let's do it. I have it on my other screen.
Glenn says go for it. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. See, this is what this
Share
community is
screen.
all about. I mean,
There
we
it
got
is.
Stuff,
There
man.
we go.
Check that out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
That is awesome.
URLs, notes.
This is
Oh,
cool.
huge props. Very cool.
All right. Look how many
Nice.
people are in it. Everybody was like, absolutely.
And down the rabbit hole we go.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Glenn. Thank you. That's really
Yeah.
awesome. Cool.
And
I'm looking
like
forward to
that spreadsheet, our members share some really great compilations. They're good curators of information. If you want to know what is the state of stock photography, Nolan Hames is your go-to man. He has this.
Yes.
He knows if it exists, he knows, and so I think he's made that available on his website, presentyourstory.com, or you can just Google for Nolan Hames, and I believe he makes that available for free.
Well, this has been so fun, you guys. I really enjoyed it. So I hope that
Oh
we
man, yeah.
got to everybody's questions. If we did not get to your questions, post them on Slack. We're on there all the time. And if we can't answer them, someone else can. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Yes.
This is good.
Thanks for your membership. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for all of your wonderful knowledge. And just thanks in advance for all your volunteer help in the coming year.
Please, please.
Right,
Reel
exactly.
you in.
We'll hope to see you soon.
All right.
Ooh, who's opening